obviously this weekend is the big show in Perth, the Elimination Chamber, and I could not be more excited for it. It's been, I think, 5.5 years since we've had a wrestling event down under, a wrestling premium live event, as they call them now. So I figured let's get into it. And then I say we've been discussing this on the main show. So if anyone wants to listen to that, go ahead and look in the channel. But the opening match I want to talk about is the number one contenders match for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 40, that is. And this has Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley versus LA Knight versus Kevin
Yeah.
Owens versus Logan Paul. Now, Thassi, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think my thoughts are pretty standard, as I have mentioned already on the main show. But for the predictions part, because I know we're going to separate it out as well, let's make a couple of points. They have stacked the lineup. So, to an objective viewer, perhaps a casual fan who's not watching week to week, they can expect a very, very nice contest with all six guys being at what I would call a main event level status. And what I mean by that is Drew McIntyre, former world champion, Randy Orton, former world champion, Bobby Lashley, former world champion, Kevin Owens, former world champion. Then you've got Logan Paul, current mid card champion, and LA Knight, who's very, very hot, former number one contender in singles contest as well. So when you line it up this way, you don't have the kind of house show vibes that I was very, very afraid we would have going into an Australian show. However, as far as predicting a winner, you look at it and you say, you've got the SmackDown title, which is the Universal Championship. Cody's going after that. So you need a corresponding Raw feud. And the only Raw superstar in this match is Drew McIntyre. And 100% after the injury of CM Punk, Drew has to be the favorite, not only to win this match, but to leave WrestleMania as the heavyweight champion of the world. Here's my prediction. I know I'm getting ahead of myself by making the Mania prediction as well. However, let's just restrict it to the confines of this pay-per-view. My guess is Drew McIntyre. What about you?
I completely agree with every point you've made. I think that by thinning the herd so much in terms of Raw participants, that you've kind of left them with the one option. Um, and I get why they did that because Cody is technically a SmackDown talent. Sorry, a Raw talent, which is why they're offering SmackDown talent the opportunity to vie for Raw's world title. But I think we know that Drew is the one that makes the most sense here. Uh, and that's just the way to go, really. But I am excited about this match to see what they can pull together in combination.
Can I ask you, first of all, are you disappointed at all that Bronson Reed is not in this match?
I'll
Because
be
I am,
blunt.
I'm kind of, to be honest with you.
I'll be very blunt. I am not that bothered. I would have
Okay.
been very happy for him if he was on, but I look at this match and I say Bronson Reed does not have greater stock than any one of these competitors, and I think the home crowd aspect is not enough of an
Mm,
incentive for me to put him on. But I did think someone like Grayson Waller should be in the match.
indeed.
I am a bit surprised and slightly annoyed on his part that they didn't give him that, and instead he's going to have to be doing a talk show segment.
Yeah.
Because I can
Look, that's
imagine for
that's
him
fair
it would
enough.
have
But
been,
at least he's somewhere on the card making an appearance. But he's going to be as a heel, mind you, right? He's going
of
to
course.
cut something about the Perth crowd, say that the real heart of Australia is in Western Sydney, not Western Australia. He'll have a couple of good quips.
Right, and look, it's not that hard for an Australian and non-WA Australian to talk shit about the state. Let's be real.
Tell him to secede or something like that, just to
Yeah,
evoke the cheap heat.
yeah. If there are any listeners from WA, we love you. We're just joking, but I mean, maybe consider moving. All right, on to the next
Jesus.
match. We've got the Judgment Day versus the combination of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. This one to me feels like a fairly simple prediction because with it so close around the corner to WrestleMania and that developing storyline lingering of what it feels like is going to be Awesome Truth challenging for the title. There's no need to have the Judgment Day drop here. So I think they're easy favorites to win. Do you agree?
Um, Look, I get it. I do. However, they are really trying to build up this idea of the tag team division on SmackDown. And I'm wondering if we might actually have like a screwy finish or something, where this might be the means by which we split the titles going into WrestleMania. So, I mean, DIY, I think, would have deserved to have a pay-per-view match going for the tag titles. The fact that they've parachuted British Strong Style in here, I refuse to call them any other name. The fact that they've parachuted British Strong Style into this makes me feel like potentially they're going to want to put them over to get some cheap heat out of the Australian crowd ahead of a babyface pop later on in the night. So I'm going to guess screwy finish, but I'm going to say that Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are going to get the win on this one. Maybe
Okay.
by DQ potential, something like that.
Okay, well, good luck with that prediction.
Mhm.
Next match we have to discuss is the women's number one contenders match for the Women's World Championship. And this is going to see Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan versus Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi versus Raquel Rodriguez, who won her spot just this past Raw in the last chance battle royal, in which
Yep.
she made a return. So does that mean that she has the momentum going into this ahead of her other competitors? What do you think, Vanessa?
She's got momentum. She's still playing this baby face, and she really needs to turn heel because there's not much to her baby face gimmick. But I can see her going into it as kind of like this monstrous, similar to how I said before, that Drew McIntyre getting a spear through the pod might be a nice spot for us to see. Maybe a Raquel Rodriguez spearing like a Tiffany Stratton or a Naomi through the pod would be a nice visual as well, just to get that kind of selling the strength of this monster babyface, really. Um, and then I don't know, maybe someone like a Liv Morgan picking up the scraps by getting the pinfall there. I think that'd be an interesting visual to see. However, I don't see Raquel Rodriguez as being the winner of something like this. I think that all signs point to Becky Lynch, frankly, being the one to go against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Like they've been going on and on about it for several weeks. And how can't you? It's the biggest money match for the women's roster on Raw. So while seeing Tiffany Stratton maybe hit a world's prettiest moonsault off the top of a pod, or Naomi getting a nice springboard dive or something also off the top of a pod or something like that would be awesome to get a win. I do think that we'll be seeing a manhandle slam or a disarm her finishing this contest and Becky Lynch getting the win. Over to you.
Well, I completely agree with your prediction. I think Becky Lynch is the logical and the right choice of this for this match. And I just wanted to quickly point out that there is only one established heel amongst these six wrestlers. And I think that's a bit of a problem. I think you need more diversity because Becky, Bianca are being presented as big stars of the division, like, and then you've got Liv Morgan, who is very popular. Naomi has just come back, has got the babyface thing going on. And as you pointed out, Raquel Rodriguez is doing her best to be a smiling monster. So you've only got one person here who's actually trying to get, you know,
Some
heal.
heat.
Yeah. And I think that's a bit of a problem. I think that I would have structured it a bit differently from this, but that's all right.
Mhm.
Hopefully they can combine together. And to reiterate, yes, I think Becky Lynch is going to be the winner from here, and she's going to book her place against the winner of what I think is going to be the main event of Elimination Chamber, and that is Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship. Uh, I'm very excited about this prospect purely just to see Rhea Ripley close out a show. Uh, and she's fantastic in the ring. Nia Jax has become a lot better with her character work. I don't think this will be a classic wrestling match. I think this could be akin. in a much lower scale, admittedly, but to what Hogan and Andre the Giant used to do back in the day, where it's just the spectacle of it is what really stands out. And I think that akin to Hogan at WrestleMania 3, that Rhea Ripley is going to do something amazing, and that is hit the Riptide on Nia Jax to get the win. What do you think?
I think that that is 100% the way that they should structure the match. It should be the idea of maybe Rhea Ripley trying and failing multiple times to deliver Riptide. Maybe an avalanche Riptide would be the best way to close this out, as if like the one big Hail Mary is, you know what, screw it, I'm not even going to try and do this on my feet. I'm going to do it off the second rope or something like that. I think that would be an awesome way to close it. This really should be Rhea Ripley's crowning moment, I suppose, in front of a home country crowd, coming out as the first ever Australian world champion. Maybe like I actually said that I would love to see Motionless in White playing her to the ring live for this, because this is going to be, in a way, it's like her big WrestleMania moment. Because when else are you going to be in front of a live pay-per-view crowd in front of your home country when you're from Australia? It's never going to happen. So something like that would be freaking awesome. I hope they really, really build up heavily to her in the course of the show and get a massive pop at the end from the crowd.
Well, 5.5 years ago, her partner, Buddy Matthews, had a crowning moment in Melbourne. Excuse me. And I think Rhea Ripley's going to get that chance this time around. Uh, Let us know in the comments what you think of our predictions and what your predictions are going to this weekend's show. For any international listeners, let us know what time that it's actually going to be for you to watch it. Very curious.